The cafeteria on station K92 was a miserable place at the best of times. Tin ceilings, dim lights, recycled air that always smelled faintly of ammonia. It was the kind of place where workers, soldiers, and drifters ate whatever was shoved into their bowls before heading back to their shifts. For most people, the worst part was the food. For Saren, the alien girl with dusky blue skin and faintly glowing eyes, the worst part was the crowd. She sat on the edge of a table, back hunched, trying to make herself invisible. Her kind, the Veari, were not welcome here. Too strange. Too fragile. Too other. That didn't stop her from needing to eat, though, and that meant facing the gauntlet. On the floor where you belong, freak. The voice came from across the table, mocking, sharp with cruelty. A human soldier, Private Hask, smirked as he tilted his tray forward. A sloppy pile of nutrient paste slid off and landed on the ground with a splat. The laughter that followed was like a knife to Saren's gut. She kept her eyes down. She could feel dozens of stares. Everyone was watching. If she resisted, it would escalate. She had tried before. It had only ended in bruises. Her stomach twisted with hunger, but worse than hunger was the shame. Slowly, trembling, she slipped from her seat and crouched on the floor. She scooped up the slop with her bare hands. The jeers and chuckles grew louder. Hask leaned back, triumphant, shoving his boots up onto the bench. That's it. Eat like the little pet you are. Maybe we'll teach you to beg next. Her cheeks burned, tears pricking at her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Showing weakness made it worse. She shoved the paste into her mouth. Her throat tightened, choking on humiliation more than food. And then, "Hold my beer." The voice was calm, amused, but carried a weight that instantly silenced half the laughter. Heads turned. It was a human, yes, but not like the others. A tall man in a grease-stained mechanic's uniform leaned against the doorway, holding a dented can of station brew. His hair was messy, his jaw rough with stubble, and his eyes glinted with a kind of dangerous humor that meant trouble for anyone standing in his way. His name was Jack Marlowe. Jack strolled forward, set his beer on a table, and crouched down next to Saren. His voice dropped low just for her. "Hey, you want to eat off the floor, that's your call. But me, I don't let my friends eat scraps." She blinked, stunned. Friends? He didn't even know her. Before she could react, Jack scooped the mush from the floor and slapped it back onto Hask's tray. "Oops," he said with mock innocence. "Looks like you dropped your dinner, soldier boy. Be ashamed to waste it." The cafeteria went dead quiet. Hask shot to his feet, face red. "You think this is funny, grease monkey?" Jack smiled lazily. "Hilarious. Almost as funny as a grown man picking on someone half his size because it makes him feel big." He gestured at Saren. "You gonna explain to me why you're treating her like trash? Or are you just compensating for something?" Snickers rippled through the crowd. Soldiers didn't like being laughed at, especially not in front of everyone. Hask snarled and shoved Jack hard. Jack didn't budge. He just grinned. "Buddy, you don't want to do that." But Hask swung. The punch never landed. Jack's hand shot up, caught the soldier's wrist mid-swing, and twisted. A second later, Hask was face first on the table, arm bent painfully behind his back. The room gasped. "Now listen close," Jack said, voice smooth as steel. "You lay a hand on her again, and I'll personally make sure you're picking your teeth out of the air ducts." He let go, letting Hask stumble back, humiliated. Jack grabbed the tray, plopped it in front of Saren, and nodded. "Sit." At the table, her heart pounded. She looked at him, then at the staring soldiers, then slowly climbed back into her seat. The food tasted no better, but for the first time in months, It wasn't poisoned with shame. Jack sat across from her, reclaimed his beer, and raised it in a toast. To dignity. Tastes better than nutrient paste. For the first time in forever, Saren smiled. The middle. Word spread quickly. The alien girl wasn't alone anymore. Everywhere Saren went, eyes followed. But not just with scorn. With curiosity. Jack didn't let the soldiers push her around. He walked with her, talked with her, defended her. "You don't have to," she whispered one day, carrying a box of tools for him in the hangar. "Don't have to what?" he asked. "Protect me. Risk trouble for me. I'm not worth it." Jack set down his wrench and gave her a look so sharp she flinched. "Don't say that again. You hear me? Nobody decides your worth but you. And if anyone says otherwise, they answer to me." She stared at him, words stuck in her throat. No one had ever spoken for her like that. They worked side by side in the hangar, repairing shuttlecraft and cargo haulers. Saren had nimble fingers, sharper senses than humans, and an eye for detail. Jack taught her how to wield tools, patch hull plates, even rewire plasma conduits. "You're a natural," he said one evening, wiping grease from his hands. "Fast learner." She tilted her head, puzzled. "You're not afraid of me. Not disgusted." Jack laughed. "Kid, I've shared bunks with mercenaries who hadn't showered in a year. Compared to that, you're practically royalty." She giggled, soft, musical, the sound catching him off guard. For a moment he just watched her, the glow of the hangar lights reflecting off her luminous eyes. Something tightened in his chest, but he pushed it down. But not everyone was pleased. Hask and his buddies simmered with resentment. To them, Jack had humiliated a soldier and made a mockery of their dominance. They wanted payback. One night, as Saren left the hangar alone, they cornered her in a maintenance corridor. "Well, well," Hask sneered. "Look who thinks she's people now." Fear froze her. "Please, I don't want trouble." Too late. He shoved her against the wall, sneering. "Jack's not here to save you now." But Jack was always watching. He'd noticed their whispers, the way they shadowed her. He'd followed quietly just in case. "Funny," his voice rang out from the shadows. "You boys ever get tired of being predictable?" Hask cursed as Jack stepped forward, pipe wrench in hand. The fight was quick, brutal. Hask swung a baton. Jack ducked, countered, slammed him into a bulkhead. Another soldier lunged. Jack cracked him across the shins. The third backed off fast. When it was over, Hask lay groaning on the floor. Jack spat. "Next time you lay a hand on her, I'll break more than your pride." He turned to Saren, who stared at him wide-eyed. You saved me again." Jack shrugged. "What are friends for?" But her look said she saw more than friendship. And maybe, just maybe, so did he. The ending. Weeks passed. The station's mood shifted. Where once Saren was an outcast, now she was Jack's partner in the hangar. Some even respected her. She fixed systems others couldn't. She laughed more, stood taller. One day, an announcement shook the station. Pirates, Grimspawn raiders, were approaching. The station prepared for battle. Crew scrambled, alarms wailed. Jack and Saren worked double time, arming defense drones and patching hull breaches. But when the raiders breached a docking bay, chaos erupted. Soldiers fought desperately. Saren found herself face to face with a Grimspawn brute, its armored hide bristling with spines. It swung a blade the size of her body. Terror froze her.